Who should you pick for your fantasy fishing for the Bassmaster Classic in Fort Worth, Texas? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Steve Chapman. If you're returning, thank you and welcome back. We are having our Classic Week. Discovery Channel has Shark Week. Why shouldn't the Get Your Fish On team and family have their own Classic Week? So every day this week we'll have a new video at 9 a.m. during the week of the Classic. So hopefully you can come over, enjoy them, and thank you. Who should you pick for the Bassmaster Classic for your fantasy fishing picks? First off, I made up some ground in week 2 or event 2. Am I doing well? Not really. But after the first week, I really sucked. And I usually base my stuff on statistics. However, with forward-facing sonar, really anyone can do well that week. I think that Fort Worth is going to be pretty much a scoper's paradise. But I think the Classic is going to be humongous. Not that it's the biggest tournament and the most prestigious. I just think they're going to absolutely smash fish. The weather is going to be perfect. And there's going to be a lot of fish moving shallow, looking for that mate, spawning. And I think Fort Worth could be the best Bassmaster catching weight of all time. But selecting your team is going to be very tough. Group A is just loaded with the best anglers, some of the best anglers on the planet. And I think if you're a Texas angler, you're probably going to be one of the favorites. And there's several of my picks are Texas anglers. But Ray Roberts should fish shallow. I think there'll be some anglers that fish deep. And I think there'll be a lot of anglers putting their perspective mode for forward-facing sonar. But we're going to see a good mix of scopers and traditional anglers. But who should you select? Well, Group A has John Cox and John Garrett and Chris Johnston and Jordan Lee and Lee Livesey, Trey McKinney, Patrick Walters, and Chris Zaldain. It's not a bad idea to take Zaldain. He's from Texas. I don't think you can go wrong with Patrick Walters. I think he's one of the best anglers on the face of the earth. Trey McKinney should be dialed in, but my pick here is the favorite, and that's Lee Livesey. He is a Texas angler. He knows how to win. He is dialed in on both forward-facing sonar and can fish traditional. And I just think I think Lee's ready to win the Classic. I think he's mentally and physically prepared. And Lee is one of those guys that always does well in every tournament. And I think he has a really good shot at winning the Classic. And I'd like to see him win the Classic, to be honest. He would make a great Classic champion. Group B has Taco Ito, Ben Milliken, Greg Hackney, Jacob Fouts, and Stetson Blaylock. If the fishing is shallow, Greg Hackney is definitely the person to pick here. He'll be flipping a jig, hitting those brush piles, hitting those trees, hitting that structure that's underwater. He will be fantastic. However, Ben Milliken's in this group. I think Ben has had 2 bad tournaments to start off with down here in Florida. I think that while he wanted to scope down here, it just doesn't work out as well as you want. I think also the cold weather screwed up the fishing for the St. John's for him. And then we went to Okeechobee. I think that the fish were already past spawn. And a lot of people were going and fishing those weed lines and those areas where they thought the fish would be spawning. They just weren't. And I think that hurt Ben. But he knows how to fish Texas. If there's one person in this group that can do it, Ben Milliken can. And I think he's going to find fish early that are offshore. And then as the water starts to warm up in those 70, 80 degree days, he's going to get to the shoreline and fish those areas and that underwater structure that will hold big bass. So in Group B, I'm taking Ben Milliken. In Group C, you have Coyote Fujita, Wes Logan, Jeff Gustafson, Will Davis Jr., and Tyler Williams. Tyler just left NPFL to get his boat fixed, and hopefully it's fixed for him. Tyler probably is one of the favorites here. Actually, he is at 9.4%. I like all these guys in this tournament, but if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to take Wes Logan because I think Wes is a fantastic angler and dialed in enough that he can fish the Classic. Now, the one thing Wes and some of these anglers have to remember is that when they start doing well, they will have a plethora of boats following them, and that can hurt their fishing. Hopefully Wes and all the anglers can just not think about it and hopefully do well. But I'm taking Wes Logan in Group C. In Group D, you have Justin Atkins, Easton Fothergill, Carl Jacobson, Logan Parks, and Kyle Patrick. Kyle Patrick is a fantastic angler. I love Kyle Patrick. I really love Kyle Patrick. I love Easton Fothergill too, but I've been completely disappointed in his first 2 tournaments. I think he might be in dead last for Angler of the Year points at this point. My pick here would either be Kyle Patrick or Justin Atkins. Justin is a really, really good angler. He can scope. He can do it all. I think the anglers that scope early are going to do very well. And then as those fish move up, I think anglers that can also traditional fish are going to do great. So my pick for Group D is Justin Atkins. Group E is where we see all the Bassmaster Nation anglers. You have Blake Capps and Kyle Norsetter and Bobby Bakewell. You have anglers in the group that are not traditional known anglers. These are the guys that have worked their asses off to get to the Classic. And there's only one person for me here. I'm taking Bobby Bakewell. And I know I've said this in the past. Bobby is a Seminole junior angler. And I've donated a lot of money and products to them in the past. And I want to see him do well. I know that he can fish traditional. He can fish with the technology. And Texas fishing, while isn't like Florida fishing, it somewhat is. And I think he'll be dialed in and know what to do. I will say, in the opens and other stuff that he's fishing right now, he's been fishing really well. So it might be a sentimental person here. Because I know Kyle Norsetter was a great pick here too. And Kyle Norsetter's at 41.5%. I'm just taking Bobby. And I'm just going to stick to my guns on this one. Sometimes you make decisions that you shouldn't. This is a decision I'm not going to worry about. I want to see him do well. I want to see him have a great tournament. And I think he's poised to be up there. So Bobby is my pick in Group E. Who are your picks? Comment below and tell me what you think. Thanks for hitting that like and subscribe button. Thanks to all the new members, all the new subscribers, everyone who comments on the channel. I really appreciate it. It's humbling. It's a great experience. And hopefully you guys like this Classic week. So if you like this kind of content, click that like and subscribe. And I really do appreciate it. Remember, take a kid fishing, tight lines cheers, and get your fish on.